Grenation, welcome back to part 3 of our interview with Mafi. Still glad to have you here, man. It's fun to get to know you a little bit because I just talked to a lot of football guys and some basketball guys, and so getting to rugby it's pretty interesting. I'm a big fan of the sport. So we're gonna go into a little bit more about you and your career since you've been at BYU, and so kind of tell me about your position and what it entails.
So I play pretty much anywhere in like the front row. So I play either prop or hook, but basically for both positions, like in the scrum, like when they put the ball in, like we come together. I'm in like the front row, so I do that, and then also like in lineouts and stuff, I'm usually the one who's actually throwing the ball into the lineouts where they like lift the people up in the air to like jump and get the ball. So I'm usually the one who's throwing it in. And then other than that, like we're usually supposed to be like the bigger people on the field, like kind of like come up with like bigger hits and stuff like that, and like be a reliable like ball carrier and like get like decent meters, but not like huge breakaways because like being the bigger people on the field, but you're just supposed to be kind of like a reliable like at all aspects of the game.
Would you say it's more defense or offensive?
I would say that, especially here at BYU, like the way that we run our system, they rely on the front rowers to be a lot more offensive heavy, just because like we're supposed to be like punishing ball carriers and stuff like that, and like getting good like meters for the team. So they definitely expect us to do a little bit more on offense. Like, not to say that we don't do anything on defense, but that's just kind of how we're set up to do a little bit more. And like that's where other positions come in. Like more of their job is to like make tackles and stuff.
That's interesting. So I feel like rugby is slowly gaining more and more traction, more and more popularity. What kind of challenges do you think athletes face as they're starting to play rugby?
Definitely it's just like the transition from coming like another sport, like because we do have people who come and try out for the team who've never like played rugby, and then they'll just come try out for the team and they don't know like any of the rules or anything like that, or like kind of the difference, because like in terms of like conditioning, in rugby we have 2 40-minute halves, so we're running constantly for the 40 minutes, or like we're always doing something. Like we don't really have a lot of like breaks in between, or like quarters or something like that. So I think that's just it, is like people underestimating how much running they have to do. And like not mentioning like all the tackling and like getting kneed in the head or whatever, but just that, and then just learning like the rules and like kind of strategy for the game.
And so going from high school to college, this level that you are at now, how did those kind of translate over? How is the level different from high school to college?
It's definitely really different. I remember the first time that I came back, because I thought that I played, playing at Harriman, and as I mentioned, we were a pretty good team. I thought that like I was already like up to speed. I'm like, transitioning. I'm like, it should be like pretty similar to like how we're doing things, because like we had the similar coachings as well, but it's like way faster, way more physical. You think that like you're gonna be able to run through everyone, or you're gonna be able to like do all these things that you did in high school, but you just have to like take a step back for a second, and like especially all the upperclassmen will kind of like put you in your place a little bit when you're like learning like how to do certain things at this level. So just like the game speed, just like the sheer like physical size of everyone is like, you're not like the big person anymore. Everyone is like a man now.
Everyone was that guy in high school. So they're all playing together.
So everyone's like a man, and they know like how to play. It's not just like little kids anymore.
So touching a little bit more about your career while you've been here, what kind of memories do you have, or what kind of highlights of your career do you feel like are most important to you?
Last year I was kind of more in like a learning role. I didn't really like see much like playing time like on the first team, especially. I didn't play at all on the first team. But this year I actually got to like, I was like kind of, I don't know how to explain it. My brother was sort of like a mentor to me more this year. So like I would still get on like the last like 30, 35 minutes of the game now. And my brother, I feel like it was like a lot more memorable this year to have him kind of teach me like how to actually compete more at this higher level rather than just like what I was doing last year, which was just learning the whole time.
Yeah.
So memorable stuff from this year, I would say BYU, we haven't gotten past the quarterfinals since like 2017 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like we used to be national champions from like 2009 to like 2015.
Yeah, I've heard we have a very good team.
Yeah. So, you know, going from like national champions like 5-6 times to not even making it past the quarterfinals, that's like kind of tough, you know, to like, especially for such a like teams are to like try and go through that. So I would say probably just getting past the quarterfinals this year and making it to the semifinals. Even though we lost to Cal, I think it was like a really big step for our program to like know that we can make that extra step again, and like hopefully next year we're able to like make it to the finals and like hopefully win it. But you know, I think that was the most memorable thing is going and playing. We played, it's called Central Washington, in the quarterfinals, and we smashed them by like 35 points. So that was like the best feeling is just going through that.
Gotcha. Well, that's gonna wind us down for our part 3. But Cougar Nation, thanks for sticking around and watching this part 3. Be sure to watch part 4. We're gonna dive a little bit more into this this topic that we're discussing right now. Go back and watch part 1 and part 2 if you haven't already. Some good content with Mafi. Great to get to know you better, and I'm really learning a lot, and I'm very intrigued, and I hope you are as well. Cougar Nation out there, but yeah, be sure to stick around for part 4. But thanks for watching part 3. Thank you for watching this interview. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss the other 2 parts of this interview, plus all of our other interviews we do with BYU athletes. We also like to give a special thanks to our Cougar Board insiders for making this possible.